Women in Print Alliance is dedicated to connecting, empowering, and advancing women in the print industry. As part of Printing United Alliance, we're fostering a more inclusive future through advocacy, education, and networking opportunities that connect women across the entire industry. Join us as an individual to grow your career, expand your network, and access exclusive resources, or enroll your entire organization to show your commitment to supporting women in print. Become a member today at womeninprintalliance.org and help us shape the future of print.
Welcome to Her Imprint, part of the Impressions Exchange. I'm Denise Gustafson, your host. This podcast celebrates the remarkable women who are transforming the printing industry. We'll explore their journeys, from challenges to triumphs, and share the stories that leave a lasting imprint.
Today I have with me Taylor Preston. She's the install coordinator with Quality Custom Signs and Graphics. So Taylor, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. So to get us started, can you give us a little bit of background about Quality Custom Signs and Graphics?
Yeah, so I've been working for Quality Custom Signs since about last September. That's when we officially had our merge. We were formerly known as Ashley Graphics. They decided they wanted to explore the rest of their lives and go in a different direction. And honestly, it's been a really neat time working with the owners of Quality Custom Sign. Women-owned business. We merged with Quality Custom Signs back in September, and I got to work with Jenny and Dina. They're part of our owners, along with Rich, as our client for Ashley Graphics, who we were formerly known as. Always worked well with them. They always had their jobs in order, and it's really nice being able to work with them in that capacity now.
Really cool. So how did you get started in print? Because I'm guessing you didn't wake up one morning and said, I'm going to be in print. That's what I'm going to do. Or did you?
Yep, no, definitely not. I thought I was going to be a cosmetologist. I was tinkering with that or print at the time. I went to a career school in Bell Fountain called Ohio High Point Career Center. Just flipped a coin. I know that sounds crazy, but ended up going into printing and graphic communications, where I learned how to work with vinyl and the t-shirt industry, all the screen printing. It was a really nice, solid foundation in order to move on to CCAD, where I went for advertising and graphic design and became their signage specialist for about 2 years, my internship there. And that's when I really started to learn about branding and how that affects the rest of the world and how people see the signs that we create. I graduated in the first semester that never happened, 2020, due to COVID. I had a really hard time entering this industry like I thought I would. Ended up doing some factory work for about a year until I had enough. I remember just like walking outside one day being like, you know what? I quit. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not doing this anymore. Walked to the bank, saw this guy applying vinyl. No, wait, I used to do that. And he goes, I'm quitting. And they're looking for someone to replace me. And about 5 years later, here I am.
That's crazy.
It was very crazy.
So as the install coordinator, so what does that entail for you? Should I even ask what like you do in a day? Or does your days change every day?
I would say my day is delightfully hectic. So my official title is install coordinator. I oversee a lot of the third-party installs. So those clients will typically have the graphics all ready to go, and they give me the scope to tell me where to go. And I'd be like, all right, I can do it this day. Coordinating seems simple. And along with our other project managers, they'd send me their projects to get on the schedule. I like working that out. It tickles my brain just making things go in the proper places.
It's like a puzzle.
But I'm also
sometimes, right?
It is like a puzzle. A lot of my coworkers, they really enjoy how organized I can be about it.
If you're not organized, I can't imagine what kind of chaos there would be otherwise.
Yeah, I think my favorite tool to use right now is Google Tasks, because I can have it not only on my iPad, but my computers and my phone. So even if I'm out in the field installing, which is what I'm doing about 98% of the time, I was hired as an installer first before I got this position. So I'm normally out there with the install team all the time, have on my emails for me, like, if you need me, call me. Otherwise, I'm getting to you after 5. Yeah, I'll come back after a general day of install and go through and make sure I'm caught up on my coordinating at that point.
So what are you installing?
any non-electrical signage, anything from dimensional wall wraps, fleet vehicles, stuff to that
Okay.
area.
So as long as there's no electricity involved, you can do it more or less.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless it's just a simple plugin, I've done those. Then those are
Okay.
fine.
That's a lot of people probably can do that too. Boop.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. So what was it about print that really interested you? Besides the point that
Ah,
you flipped a coin, which is weird, but that's okay.
yeah, absolutely. I do recognize that it is weird. I really enjoy the way that people view the world. I like helping people navigate the way that we see the world. It's signage enthusiasts changing the way we see the world one sign at a time. And I know that's super cheesy, but that is really what I think about this industry.
It is true, though. You are changing the world one sign at a time because the impact that signage has, I don't think people think about it. To them, it's just a sign. But what does that sign do for the business, do for the company, the people that are going to be going to that business or looking for that business? It impacts more than just one or two people.
Yeah, it could be it's something as simple as finding a business or just searching for a bathroom. Like people don't even think about that aspect of it. Like somebody had to put that sign there or the wayfinding to tell you where to go.
Yes.
Very helpful in case of an emergency.
Definitely very important to have those signs, especially if you're in a
Yes.
building and there's like random doors everywhere, hallways that lead off to nothingness. Yeah, we've all been inside, especially like a hospital or some of those larger facilities.
Oh yeah,
You could get lost in there for days.
I have before. The signs are very helpful.
So, what is it like for you to be a woman and be an installer? Because that's not something that is very common.
No, it's not something that I've gotten to see more than twice in person. When I got hired here, the only other female installer that I met was for our in-shop vehicle wrapping. And I was like, that's really cool. I'm glad I'm not alone. And she went her separate way. And I didn't see another female installer for a long time until we made our merge at Quality Custom Signs because they also have two installers, one of which is being female. It's interesting the way that we combine notes of our experiences because we can tell when we do get treated differently or not taken seriously. Because I could have the same answer that my male coworker has for a client and it gets treated in different ways for some reason.
Was it different with the clients?
I think this is my best example that I have is starting off with just my name because Taylor is a very neutral name.
It is.
And I've gotten all three responses. I've gotten someone being very ecstatic that I was a woman, like very ecstatic. They've totally forgot about the job they were about to tell me about. I was like, this was great. I'm on a ladder. How can I help you? I've gotten the, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were a woman reaction. And then just we move on with their day. That one is lovely. And I've gotten the very disappointed reaction of me being a woman just due to my name. And I deal with it the best that I can. I'm there to try to provide quality for every client that I go to meet. For the most part, everybody is very friendly despite the gender difference.
Which is good.
I think, yes.
You would definitely hope that people would be friendly. You're there doing a service, obviously. But it's, like I said, it is, and you've even enumerated it, you're in a unique position because you are a woman in a job that most people anticipate being a male doing.
That's exactly why I don't have a profile picture on my email. I have found that my life has, especially email wise, it's just easier having that conversation when you just throw out the idea of gender. I don't even think about it with my emails. Of course, I'm still polite, but I'm leaving out like the sirs and the ma'ams and just getting straight to the nitty gritty and providing that nice hospitality. I'd say the most challenging areas of where we work is probably the similar places to construction sites. Because some people think you're just the pretty thing there and everybody's going to help you and you don't have to lift a finger. Not that I've gotten that reaction exclusively there, but I have gotten a lot more discrimination on those sort of areas than just going to a Burlington or something like that.
Yeah, two very different places. But yeah, it is interesting that you
Yes.
like the construction sites where you're going to get more bias and people are going to look down on you in a way.
Yeah. And I think that the strangest reaction I have had is I had a bad day on a job site once. I was totally an emotional mess and I was trying to pull myself together. And the superintendent on that job site noticed my physical upsetness and I didn't see him all day. And I think that is a power that we have in the world is that like some men are just extremely uncomfortable with emotion.
They are.
I didn't think I would get such a strong reaction from him, just like avoiding the area that I was working in purely because I was having a bad day. When I've seen many men on that construction site be angry and they're not being avoided,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing to see for sure. I think something else that adds to that is my coworkers know that I like to wear these very like chunky heels. I like my femininity. I like to show it. I'm still safe, even though I do wear them. Like I think I got on right now, the Jessie boot by Docs, just as everything else just breaks apart. And I like to have some sort of pizzazz to my workday and show who I am as a person. And I've gotten a lot of reactions to the heels in general as well. But I could still do the same job in heels as a woman that my male coworkers can do in whatever shoe wear they wear.
As long as it's rated for the site, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And did you know they make these little steel toe clip-on things that you can put on any shoes?
I did not know that.
I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It's a very dorky thing.
But in your line of work, it's very important.
And we're not always on a construction site, like I said. Those are just some of our bigger projects.
But yeah, a Burlington, they're used to women being in those stores because it's a retail store. And so they
Mhm.
probably don't think twice about it. Oh, yeah, someone's going to come put some graphics in for us. That's great.
And another comment that I've received quite a bit is people just assume that my male coworker and I are a married couple happily doing our jobs. They don't even ask. It's just a comment we get all the time.
How long have you been married? Is that what they're asking?
No, they'll just refer to me as his wife and him as my husband and vice versa.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, that's so sweet that you guys work together like that. I'm like, just because we're two different genders doesn't automatically mean that. He's a really cool person, but his wife is even cooler than I am.
He is married, not to me.
And as am I. And it's just a wild social experiment that we see out there.
It's
Because
interesting.
we get along so well and we pretty much, we work in tandem all the time. So I can see how people assume that, but at the same time, no.
Yeah, sometimes you work closely with somebody, you know their rhythms, and especially when you've worked closely for several years, you do have a certain familiarity between you. But that doesn't automatically assume that, yes, we're married.
We get it all the time.
That's just interesting. I would have never have thought of it that way, honestly. So it is interesting to hear that's one of the challenges that you have to navigate.
Yeah. And if we go out to lunch, they just assume it's one check. Then things like that.
I don't know if there's a way to fix it, which is what we would love to do, but I just don't know if that's even possible.
I've been thinking about this scenario for quite a while, and I'm not sure that I've just assumed that two different genders working together were like a couple or a thing. I don't think I've really asked because at the end of the day, they're doing their job. They're getting it done. And unless they mention it, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the place to start.
Just not automatically assume.
Yeah.
Now, for you, you're relatively new in the industry. You have what, 5 or so years under your belt at this point?
More or less. Yeah.
Okay. What was it like trying to further your career? How did you go about it? Was it through mentorship? Was it through different educational opportunities? How did you progress along in your career journey?
We're a fairly small company. So I believe that I progressed just due to the needs of our company. It was starting to get a little hectic, just having all the project managers throw on their customers and clients at the same time rather than just funneling it through one channel. I believe that there was some sort of a need for that at the time. I think we have about somewhere in between 16 and 20 people. So yeah, still relatively small.
Has there been anybody that has really mentored you to help you along the way?
I would say my coworker, Ryan, she definitely has helped me learn more about this industry because I'd always worked with smaller portions of vinyl in the past. And I didn't really expect to be doing these super large projects in the way that I have, and some of the techniques that I just didn't even know about. He's been really helpful into learning the nitty gritty with that, especially since he is 3M certified now. So he took the whole course and did that and has been showing me all the little tricks that he learned there. And it makes my job a lot easier being able to have that conversation with him and learn through him that way.
That's awesome. I know a lot of the manufacturers, 3M, MacTac, Avery, a lot of them do a lot of those classes. And so he's 3M certified at this point. So is that something that you're looking forward to as a next step for you to do one of those classes yourself?
I get a little bit of test anxiety. So the thought of it makes me anxious, but I do want to be able to be 3M certified eventually.
You'll get there. There's confidence there.
Yeah. I have time. But for now, I'm just working on making sure my skills are even better and taking the information that he's given me and the information. I used to watch car wraps for fun whenever I was bored. So just anything from online to what he can provide to what I could find in the wild. I try to gather up as much information as I can, really.
And it's interesting because my age, I am a little older than you, more than a little older than you. So my first thing would not be to go watch it on YouTube. That's just not my generation. I'm a Gen Xer. So for me, it's to do the courses, to go and do that. But it's interesting because you learn a very different way too.
Yeah, no, I believe every step of this print journey, I've learned something different. Like the career school that I went to in Belfountain, Mr. Carrick was my first mentor. He was my professor for that class. He even helped me get my first job in screen printing.
Cool.
It was at this little place called TNL Graphics in Bell Center. They did a bunch of school t-shirts and embroidery. I knew I wanted to be in print at that moment. I was like, no matter what it is, I don't know exactly which route I'm going to go from here, but this is what I want to focus on. And that was the whole reason why I even went to CCAD. And the sinus specialist thing also fell in my lap. I went to career services and I was like, I am looking for a job in personalized print. And they had no idea what I meant by that. I guess neither did I, but I definitely have more of an idea than they did. And they're like, go behind the mailroom, basically into Narnia.
More or less.
Find this guy, talk to him. His name was David Stockwell. I remember going up to him and being like, hey, I need an internship. You don't even have to pay me. Just let me have it. I'm going to pay you. And ended up learning a lot more about vinyl and their machines there. And I became knowledgeable enough to tell them to stop buying the same $300 machine that broke every 6 months and get a Roland. Like, please do that.
Please get
Save
the
money
money
for
a little
yourself.
bit better. Yeah.
Just a little bit. So I think those experiences really shaped me into the direction that I was going to go from there.
I think it's interesting just to hear how you learn and how you got to where you are. Because for you, it's a lot of hands-on learning. You knew that you wanted to do something with your hands. You wanted to create, to build, to do something along those lines. And I have to give you a lot of credit because you actually just went for it. A lot of people would just like muddle around and try to figure it out, but you knew what you wanted, which is
I'm really glad I
awesome.
didn't do cosmetology. Looking back on it now, I jokingly like to call myself a gray collar worker because I both do the blue collar stuff in the field and the office work. So I just made up a color.
So you can gray collar. Or sky blue. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. That would be the colors next. But
Yeah. So for you, I know you have long days. You mentioned you're back here at the office. It's after hours. How do you balance your home life, your work life? Is there anything that is considered balance at this point?
it's very difficult. I think I've been in this position for about 3 years now and trying to balance customers' expectations by going into the field from 9 to 5 and managing if we get help with that, and trying to find some office time without letting my team down or them not having any extra hands. That's one challenge in itself. Luckily, I have a good enough team that they're not like, hey, why are you working at 9 o'clock at night? And it never takes me too long to catch up there. I think the biggest challenge is I live about an hour away from my shop one way.
That's a hike.
I told myself I would never drive more than 45 minutes to a job that I hated. And I do really love what I do. And considering we travel the state of Ohio and some of the surrounding states, that hour just feels like a little bit of an addition, not too much. And my husband's also a workaholic. So I feel like we're having the same struggle of our work-life balance there, traveling the state of Ohio. I definitely find time to get everything done in a timely manner to the best of my ability. And I know that my team's always there to back me up if I need help.
Which is great that you have that support system. In some ways, I guess it's okay. And it's that your husband is the same workaholic that you are.
Yeah. In this economy, absolutely. We have two beautiful cats at home. I want to be able to get them the bougie food.
Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, a family just really wasn't in our plans. And we used to live in Columbus, so I traded my 5-minute drive for an hour and 5-minute drive. It was not a tough decision for me to make, considering the work culture of this place.
So good. That's awesome to hear. I guess as we're wrapping up, one of the favorite questions that I always ask is knowing what you know now. So your experience between your internships and working here, if you were just starting out today and trying to figure out what you wanted to do, what advice would you give yourself if you're just walking in the door?
That is an absolutely great question. Just go at it with confidence. And I think that's the way that I've made a lot of my decisions is like I weigh the pros and cons for the brief amount of time and I try to figure out how it is going to affect my future. But for the most part, if you have a spark in an industry that you enjoy, explore it, see where it goes. And it's okay if you fail. But at least in my experience, exploring that spark means you're just going to go swimming into it further.
So explore with confidence.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My analogies are really weird.
That's okay. I appreciate that because honestly, for a lot of women, confidence is what a lot of women struggle with, not having enough. But it's a great advice.
I've always heard fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
And I've hated that one because I'm not great at faking anything. So I guess a part of that exploring is face it till you make it. You just got to look it right in the eyes, figure it out.
Yeah. I think the world would be different if a lot of people actually decided to just go for it. I hate to do what the Nike go for it, whatever their mottos are. But yeah, I mean, there's so much out there, especially in this industry, that women can do, that men can do. And like you said, you're driving an hour for a job you love.
Absolutely. I have a very busy schedule.
I hope you don't burn yourself out, though. That's definitely always a worry when you have so much going on.
Oh, no, I'm a planner. I've already had my whole year planned out. I got my vacations for my little breaks all set in stone.
You did say you're uber organized, so apparently it works with everything.
As long as it's written down, I have it.
Awesome. Taylor, thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for joining us on this journey to celebrate and amplify the voices of women in the printing industry. If you have a story to share or know someone whose journey deserves to be highlighted, we'd love to hear from you. Together, let's continue inspiring and empowering the next generation of leaders. Until next time, keep leaving your imprint. This is Her Imprint. See you soon.